G'day, today I'm fitting a 0.8 metre SeaDog sail to my Mirage kayak. Links are in the description. Now let's get to it. Most kayaks have a very thin deck, so for this reason you're going to have to reinforce the underside of the deck where the mast goes. Under sail there's a lot of downward force pushing against that deck. You don't want it to break while you're out at sea. On the Mirage, access to this deck is through a tiny 8-inch front hatch, which is really hard to get your head into. So at first I thought I might be able to use my phone on a tripod and get that up in there, but turns out my hands just didn't quite reach. So what I ended up doing was I grabbed a GoPro, a torch, stuck that right up the bow of the boat and used Wi-Fi on the GoPro to get the screen onto the phone. Alright, so I've got my fiberglass chopped matting. Got some nitrile gloves. These are recommended for use with resins because the latex ones can often let some chemical seep through. So use these gloves to keep your hands safe. Got my fiberglass resin. That will focus. That doesn't want to focus. Okay. Got some of our catalyst hardener. And we've got a fiberglass roller, and this is to smooth the air bubbles out of the fiberglass once it's in place. Just a quick note, when you're choosing which resin to buy, you're going to need to work out what your boat is made from first. So polyester is an adequate adhesive, but it's not as good as an epoxy. While epoxy adheres to cured polyester, the reverse isn't as true. So my boat is made from polyester resin, so that's fine. I can use the polyester resin to add the extra sheets. And I got my template. Now this is just an A5 piece of paper. That's what I'm going to use as my template to get to cut the matting to. It's the problem with having big hands and one size fits all gloves. Holy moly, that's tight. Now we want to put about 4 layers of this on to strengthen the hull. So we just start cutting this around our template. Just one. Next we want to fray around the edges of all of these. It just helps the fiberglass meld in with the glue into the bottom of the hull. That's those 4 done. Now I want a sheet of plastic that I can put the resin and the glass on so I can soak it all. Okay, so I couldn't find any plastic, so I've got a sheet of cardboard instead. Now we're going to get this resin mixed up. Now for the catalyst. Now make sure you check the instructions because it's going to differ depending on where you are, as whether it's hot or cold, or so. Let this in. Now that we've got that mixed, use my throwaway paintbrush. Let's get to soaking this mat. I'm going to soak all 4 pieces at once. And just put them on top of each other. Get our sticks under. Use these sticks to lift it into place. Now, right, here goes. You need to use the fiberglass roller to flatten out, get all the air bubbles out of it, and just to smooth it off nicely. Don't apply too much pressure though, because you don't want to push all the resin out of the glass. So here's our parts list. I'll actually put a list down in the description for you, but anyway, that's all of it there. Okay, so we've got the deck reinforced with fiberglass. Now we're going to start fitting the sail to the top. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a small 2mm Spectra loop through the grab handle here and attach one of our pulleys to it. Okay, so I managed to get that through. I dropped the camera and broke the little GoPro tripod, but so what I did was I just folded this over, stuck the coat hanger into the fold and then pushed it through from the side that way. Anyway, so that's that through now. Now a quick tip for cutting Spectra, because if you just cut this it'll fray like crazy. It's really hard stuff to cut. So what you do is just wrap a little bit of tape around it, grab a sharp pair of scissors and then cut it with tape. We'll still need to singe the end though. Now we're going to tie off our first pulley. There we go. Step one. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is measure 136 from the edge of the cockpit to where we're going to mark it for our base. So this will give 10 centimeters of overlap for the sail above into the cockpit, which is fine. You need to be able to reach the sail to fold it back up, and when you stow it, you're going to stow it off to the side anyway, so it's not going to get in the way. So we want 136 from here, which puts us out here. That is going to sit right there. So next we're going to drill a couple of holes, and what we need to do, because the deck is like on an angle, sloped down on either side, this is flat, it's not going to fit. So what we need to do is we need to build up with some knead it. Now it's like putty that sets rock hard, so we're going to use some of that underneath to build it up to make it level, and then we're going to screw it down onto the deck. So because we're using a 3/16 bolt, we're going to drill a 532 hole, which is just a little bit smaller, and that should give us a nice tight snug fit. Anyway, here's my least favourite part of any job. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to put some Glad wrap over this, and then use the Knead It on the base so that the Knead It doesn't stick to the hull. Take it off, smooth it all around, and then put it down properly. Put your cling film down. So here's the Knead It. What it is a putty that comes in the tube. Just cut a piece off, knead it all together until it's nice and warm, put it in place, and then it will set rock hard. By kneading it together, the two chemical compounds all mix. Build this up a bit around. There we go. Now we just let that set. Okay, so next step, we've got to put our two deck line guides down on either side of the hull, right in line with where the mast is. We use a bit of Sikaflex on here. Screw that in. And on the far side, we need to put one of our lock nuts and washers. Now we just do the same on the other side. Now we need to tie a couple of other Spectra loops through each side of these as well. This one, and do the other side. Now our third and final deck line guide is going to go here, and that's going to give us one loop for the rear stay and one loop to hold the pulley for the sheet rope. The front one we just tie off for the front, sorry, for the rear stay of the sail. The rear one we attach the pulley to. Okay, so moving back now, we're going to need to put our uphaul cleat on, actually on this side. Now these come in a pack of two, but you only need the one. Anyway, get one of those off, that one can go back. So this one is going to sit over on this side, roughly about level with the front of the cockpit groove here, and then we're going to put our cam cleat, which is this one, over on this side, and that's for the adjustment of the sheet rope. Mark and drill here. I'm going to keep the line of the rope in line with where the pulley is on the front. Trusty Sikaflex. This is not so much to stop water getting into the cockpit, but just to stop water getting into the fiberglass core. The washer and lock nut on the end. Now these clam cleats are a 532 hole, so we're just going to change our drill bit out, go the next size down, because I like to be symmetrical. Let's look at this. We got to our rope line there, it's about 17 and a half, so 17 and a half, bring our rope line to here. Okay, and this one is kind of in line with the very front pulley. So I'm going to put that in there. Beautiful. Now the final thing we do before we move back up front and mount the sail, the mast base, is we're going to need to run some bungee cord from the deck line over to here, using this hook to over here, and that's so that when we fold the sail up and stick it onto the side, we can clip it down and it'll stay put. And we're just going to put a Spectra loop on this side because the deck line's too tight to actually get the hook into. So there we go. Okay, so we've still got a little bit more to wait for that. Need it to dry on the front mast. It's a little bit tacky and bendy still. We need it to be rock solid, then we can sand it all back, mount the mast. We're good as done, ready to go out sailing. There we go. Sanded it off so it's nice and smooth. We'll give it a bit of a clean up now and bolt that on. A bit of Sikaflex. Sits nicely. There are washers and lock nuts on the bottom. There we go. Done. Now we just got to fit our sail, tie our line lengths. Done. So the mast, to fit the mast, goes in that little square hole there, and locks in place like so. The uphaul rope is what you'll use to lower and raise the sail. Run this through the front pulley and then all the way back to the left hand side clam cleat. Next you'll want to tie the two side stays down to the port and starboard sides. Now what I'd tie these off with is just a taut line hitch, that way that you can lengthen and tighten the rope as needed. Finally tie off the rear stay using the same taut line hitch. Let's see if I can show you what we're doing here. It's just a taut line hitch really. Okay, so I really should have used a GoPro mount for this, but don't worry, just YouTube search taut line hitch and there'll be hundreds of examples to show you. Finally, you want to take your sheet rope, run that through the rear pulley and then all the way back to the clam cleat. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, and until next time, get out beyond your backyard.